Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to this edition of the Our America channel. My name is Thornton Prayer. I'm a citizen, a patriot, and I care very deeply about our country and the directions that we're headed in. Today, I'd like to talk about politicians. And I want to talk about politicians not because they're evil beings, but because they are actually who we are. Now, what I mean by that is that I think a lot of people love to criticize politicians. It's like shooting fish in a barrel, and that's easy to do. Politicians do crazy stuff. Politicians are a different breed in a sense, have a different mindset than the average person. However, I'm going to suggest to you that the politician is actually reflective of who we are. A politician is only as smart as we are. A politician is only as dumb as we are. And so when I hear people complaining about politicians, there's a part of me I just shake my head. It's like, look, all that person is doing is reflecting who we are, what we're doing, and how we're acting. When a politician takes money, a bribe, and they do that from time to time, let's be honest. Are they doing that simply because they're evil? No, that's because we voted for them, knowing full well in many cases that that's what they're capable of doing. And then we act shocked and surprised when they do that kind of stuff. It's like being around someone has a drug addiction, and then you're shocked and surprised they come home and they're drunk or they're hyped up on coke. It's like you knew what they were like beforehand, and then you're acting surprised. What are you talking about? So what I want to say here is that when we get upset with our politicians, ones we voted for, ones we voted against, or ones we don't even care about, and they do these things that we don't like, I'm going to say that's reflective and that's on us. Because we're not angels. And politicians, the vast majority of people who are political people, running for political office, they try to understand what's going on with the electorate that they're trying to represent. And so they spend a lot of time, as best as they can, I'm not saying they're all good at it, but at least as best as they can, trying to understand the pulse of what the people in their districts or their states are thinking and feeling and believing. So when they do certain things, they're actually reflecting what they heard from us. We give them very clear signals. We write letters, we call their offices and things of that nature. And yet, when they do something we're surprised about, it's like, that's because of something that we said, that the electorate said. Now, let's be clear. I'm not saying when a politician does something really outrageous, let's say like, sexually assaulting somebody. I mean, sometimes that happens. I'm not saying that's our responsibility. But when politicians do political things, it's because we gave them signals to do such. When we say to a politician, cut these benefits, and then they cut those benefits, for us to get upset, it's like they said they did what we told them we wanted them to do. When a politician says, well, we're going to increase spending in this area, and then they increase spending in that area, and then we act like, I can't believe they did that. It's like that they said that's what they were going to do. One of the things I like to say to people, and this is actually kind of a variation of what George Orwell said, which is the hardest thing to get people to do is to see reality that's right there in front of them. And a lot of us, for some reason, in the world of politics, and especially when it comes to evaluating and thinking about particular politicians, we actually act surprised when they do the very things we want them to do, we ask them to do, we expect them to do, and then we can't believe it. All you got to do is recognize that a politician's doing what we tell them to do. Now, sometimes we don't even know what we want, so politicians have to guess, so we shouldn't be surprised even by that. All I'm saying is that if you want politicians to do what you truly want them to do and not be surprised, then you've got to start talking to them and you got to start demanding upon them. People don't demand things that are politicians. They say stuff, they want certain things. They want government benefits, government spending, or cutting taxes or what have you, and then they do that, and then we act like, how did that happen? I didn't know that it was going to happen. Like I said, if you get into a relationship with someone who's an alcoholic and they come home drunk, you can't say you didn't know. Likewise, if someone's got a drug addiction, someone's got a gambling problem, you knew if you get into a relationship with someone who has a gambling problem, and then you come home one day and you find out they cleaned out your bank accounts because they spent it all gambling, you cannot act surprised. First time maybe, but after that, no. But when a politician does political things, and then for us to go like, oh, I didn't expect that to happen. What are you talking about? That's on us. That's on you. That's on me. So all I'm saying here, and to wrap things up, is that to be surprised To be upset and frustrated when a politician behaves politically is like getting mad at a dog that barks. That's on us. If we want politicians to actually do what we want, then we've got to be willing to demand that they listen to us and actually follow through. People vote, or people don't even vote and complain, or they vote and then they check out, and then every 2 or 4 years they kind of wake up, and then they're like, I can't believe they did that sort of stuff. You've got to follow up with them. I mean, if you have a little kid, you don't let the kid run around and check in on the kid once a month. You're going to have a messed up kid if you did that. A little child. Same thing with a job or a relationship. You can't check out on your job and disappear for 1 or 2 months at a time and expect to have a job. You can't be in a marriage and check out on the marriage for 1 or 2 months and then go like, I can't believe I'm getting a divorce. But that's how people treat their politicians and their politics. You've got to be engaged. One of the things I'm hoping to accomplish with this video channel is to ask us as individuals to be responsible, to start demanding of ourselves that we have a political system that serves the people. Because the people aren't there. You and I are not showing up. The United States has one of the of democracies, democratic countries in the world, has one of the lowest voting participation rates. And then we act like I can't believe this happened. We don't show up, and then things go haywire. You got to show up. You got to demand your politicians be what you want them to be. Because our politicians are only as good as we are. And I'm going to say we're not being very good as an electorate and as a populace. Now, I may have said some things here that have set some people off. I'm not trying to do that. But I welcome any thoughts or comments. I'll wrap up here. Thank you for watching today's edition of the Our America channel. See you next time.